Hello, sir. Good morning. Thanks for joining in.
Nice, Subarna. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What about you?
All great. Good, doing
So
good, doing good.
so we have been meeting actually for after 4 to 5 years, right? So it's quite
Absolutely.
longer time.
Yes.
We did actually
Yes. Yes.
keep on touch with each other, and obviously it's like we planned to do it on evening, but as you were so busy, obviously, so we did find some time in the morning hours, and we will do the streaming or we will release the video at the evening at the same time, whatever we are doing. Um, and
Thanks for accommodating that. It's a crazy schedule. So yeah, thanks for that.
Thanks a lot, Asutosh sir, to you. He's been actually a mentor for quite a longer time. So we do have some mentors like outside means day-to-day SAP works. We discuss things, we do stuffs. So he actually did for the same thing for me for a quite longer time. But yeah, so he has been a leader, SAP technology practice leader for quite a longer time again. So over to you, Ashutosh sir. So can you please brief about you to the audience first?
Sure, Subarna. And hello, everybody. My name is Ashutosh Mutsaddi, and I will introduce myself as a technology enthusiast. I've been in this SAP world for over 2 decades now, but it's the love of technology that keeps me going, basically. So whichever role I am or whatever that I do in my job, it's I always keep in touch with SAP, and I just can't, let it let go of it. So I'm kind of a hands-on SAP enthusiast. But yes, over the last few years, the world has changed. AI has come in. So many things have come in. So it's become more and more interesting, and I try to keep pace with all of that, and I also try to provide my views and my guidance to budding enthusiasts. Yeah,
That,
that's
that,
about me.
yeah, that's actually really good. The reason why I say this one is like you just not only keen to learn, you also means I feel that vibe is like you have that personality where the people whom you are talking to can have the room to grow, and that's a beauty of working with you. That's what I feel personally. So it's not an
Thank you.
means it's not an grasping everything and doing it rush. There is no that thing I feel, but also you also given good quick and good guidance to the means everybody whatever as you mentioned, like, it's like 20 decades is a long time, and AI it's everything, and that's the topic what we are going to discuss today, sir. So over to you. So how you were thinking?
Right, sure. So basically, the topic for the day, like we discussed, Sabarna, is with the advent of AI and the way it's been spreading itself over the last few years, and then we saw the dawn of Gen AI with Chat GPT coming in. It has led many people to wonder. When I say people, I'm referring to our SAP audience here, SAP predominantly, but I think it's generic, agnostic of which ERP you are in. People think, what will happen to me? What do I have? How do I adapt to all these changes that are happening? Right. So, with that in mind, I thought we can have that as a topic of discussion today, and I'll share some of my thoughts on this, on what's actually happening and what should people do to stay up to date and stay relevant in this environment. So I have a few. I can share my screen, Sabarna.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a moment.
There is a share button below.
Yeah, it is there. One minute. Let me know if you can see me, my screen.
Yeah, yeah, I can see.
All right. Okay. So let's discuss about this. Adapting to AI, but not just generic AI. Let's talk about SAP or ERP specific. Right. So to begin with, I would say let's look at the broader objectives of enterprise level AI. When we are talking about SAP or any other ERP system, we are dealing with enterprise grade AI. Okay, it's not the AI that we consume as end consumers or as users, right? So there are three major objectives that an enterprise level AI should have. Okay. Number one, it's, as you know, any SAP system, it supports this end-to-end processes like order to cash, procure to pay. So the main objective is to help business make speedy decisions, support and speed up decisions. How do you do that? You do that by making data available, because there's tons of data in SAP, right? But how do you make meaningful insights out of that data so that managers can make the right decisions, right? So that's the number one objective, and I think that's the most important objective of any technology that enables or supports SAP. Number two is automation and optimization of processes, right? So there are so many tasks that are routine or repetitive in nature, or are even so much human effort intensive that there are chances of human error creeping in.
Mm.
So the second role of enterprise AI is to facilitate uh, this automation, wherein bots or any other technology can step in, do the routine work for you, and you can apply your brains for innovation and high value work. And the number three part is creating or enhancing the existing business models. What I mean by that is, you have your core process, right? Now that process gets embellished with AI bringing in additional value, so that you can in turn you can be able to support or create new value for the end users of the process, right? So this might lead to a totally new offering. Like for example, we saw in the world how maybe Uber came up, right? Google Maps were already there, but an application of Google Map led to Uber, right? So many such things can add to existing processes, such as personalization or recommendations or predictive analytics, which can enhance and come up with new business models. So I think these are the three things that we need to keep at the back of our mind when we look at enterprise level AI.
Yes, yes.
Now, coming specifically to SAP, what does SAP have to offer in these areas? And again, again, this is not supposed to be a SAP deep dive session, so I'm not getting into that. Just touching on the surface of what SAP has to offer. Uh, there are predictive analytics applications which were not there before. Earlier, you used to have just work lists, that is your to-do tasks,
Uh,
and tasks from the past tense, right? Your reports for the last quarter, last month. Now you have reports that look forward. They predict what will happen, right? What a great tool to support decision making. Then SAP offers automation capabilities, that is the SAP's robotic process automation, and that can really is it's a game changer. It can streamline the processes, and there's a lot more that SAP has to offer there. And then there's the digital assistants or the conversational AI in form of Joel, and there'll be a lot of new technologies and new such things that have to be enhanced. So there's much more that SAP has to offer. Uh, Again, I won't go into the depth of it, but the interesting part here is the way SAP has structured the AI for AI offering is, of course, there's a conversational bot at the top, Joule, which is your digital assistant. That's the co-pilot that will be on the top. But the way the AI is to be consumed is very interesting. It is embedded AI, right? There's no separate module in SAP called AI, right? It is the AI, the purpose of AI is to enhance supply chain management, enhance human capital management, enhance CRM, enhance everything. So the core processes that were there are now largely enhanced, and that is very critical. I'll come to it in my later slides, but you have to absorb AI into your day-to-day life and your routine processes that are there. And the way AI is developed, then there's the third layer, that is the AI foundation, that is exclusively for running on the BTP platform on how AI will be developed and consumed, which is the AI core, the AI launchpad, and then the other business services that SAP has to offer. But again, this is not the topic for the day. I'm just bringing this into perspective so that our users, our audience, our viewers are on the same page, right? So these are the various things that SAP has to offer in terms of AI. And will this be relevant, say, a few months from now? No, we never know. The roadmap keeps changing, the world keeps on changing. So the question is, how can, as an SAP consultant, you know, how an SAP expert today who has spent good amount of time in the industry, say 8 to 10 years, and now you're wondering what will happen now with the advent of AI, and how do I stay up to date with all of this, right? That is the topic of the day. What should SAP consultants really do when adapting to AI?
Yes, yes.
Right. So I would like to state uh, 3 to 4 points, or I would say suggestions that I have, or I feel I do myself, that would help consultants in this world. And when I say consultants, they could be either functional consultants in the traditional sense, like they are domain experts in supply chain management or financials or HCM, or they could be technical consultants who are traditional developers, ABAP programmers, or Fiori developers, or basis consultants, right? It's a generic term that I'm using here. The number one point that I feel is very important, and this might sound a little bit cliched, but it's important: keep pace with innovation. See, doing over and above what we do in our regular job, there is a lot to be learned now in the within and outside SAP world. That's what I emphasize on that, because the innovation at SAP may not be the torchbearer of innovation, right? It may come from other systems, it may come from other totally different sources. So invest time and resources in staying abreast, staying up to date with what's happening. Do you really need to take each and every technical course? No, that's not really possible. You can't become a data scientist overnight, but you should at least know that this technology exists and what are the possible applications and limitations. Both you should be aware of, right? So there's a funny thing, you know what? Whenever I look at any changing situations, Abarna, uh, there are some of my technology gurus that I follow. You look at their quotes; they are timeless thoughts. You know, you apply them to any situation. These maybe some of these statements were made long before AI came in, but they are very very relevant. So Elon Musk once said, "Technology is not a static picture." Okay, don't feel that if you've seen what it is there today, you know what you know it all. No, it's an ever changing. It's like a movie, right? So you have to keep glued to the screen to see what's happening, see how things are changing.
Yeah.
So that's my number one thought. Keeping pace with innovation is extremely critical. uh, and number two thing is collaborate. You have to learn to collaborate, because of course, as if you are thinking about AI, and if you can upskill yourself, certainly do.
Mhm.
Yes, you can learn AI capabilities if you still have the bandwidth, or if you've had the education and the background around it, and if you can do it, do it. But as times change, even within AI, there are so many skills and super specializations. You really cannot be everybody all at once, right? So it's extremely important to collaborate and coordinate. You'll need a team of capable technical experts, data scientists. They could be prompt engineers. There could be many many new skills that are not even born today, and you have to play with them, get them together. And of course, everything is an open source, so not everything would be related to SAP also. We would be consuming services from across technologies here. But what is important, and what I think SAP consultants are very strong at, and they should continue to leverage this strength, is application of technology. See, even today, in today's SAP world, not everybody is a master of everything, right? A supply chain consultant is a domain expert in supply chain. He would have some interfacing knowledge of upstream and downstream processes, but not certainly everything, right? So same is the case here. There will be a set of experts, and they'll be bringing their competency to table. You should know what each one of them brings, but application of that to the business process. So your knowledge of business process is key here, and that will drive your your thought process on how to, you know, adapt AI or apply AI, and make it fruitful, right? Technology cannot exist by itself. It has to be applied to business, and that's where I think SAP consultants are very good at, and they'll continue to do well in this. So again, Steve Jobs old quote: musicians play the instruments, but I play the orchestra. Everything has to be brought into symphony by a coordinator, and a collaborator who can make the difference. So that I feel, Subarna, is one of the important things as well. Collaborate.
Yeah, yeah.
Moving forward, two other things. Uh, Embedding AI into your core SAP solutions, because that is SAP's vision, as I said. So if you are, say, a procure to pay consultant, you will now have additional best practices that SAP has launched based on, say, predictive replenishment or predicted delivery delays.
Okay.
But I'm surprised that many, and these have been in existence for what, last 4 to 5 years in different shapes and forms. They keep on evolving, but they have been around. But I'm surprised many of our uh, so-called domain experts are not even aware of what SAP has to offer out of the box,
Hmm.
and that kind of alarms me, right? Because I think people treat it like, okay, AI is something there, it's beyond my domain, or I don't have to be bothered about it. No, it's not that, right? So know the best practices, know the out of the box capabilities, because once you know that, then you will be able to ideate, imagine, and identify new applications to technology, and then over and above innovate and build on top of it, right? Because SAP always gives you basic capabilities, but it always leaves you room to innovate and move forward, right? So I think that's going to be very important. Like Bill Gates said, the advance of technology, and its success basically is based on making it a part of your life, making it fit in, right? So it's part of your everyday life. So that's how you don't think that, as I said, AI is going to be a separate process or a separate module in SAP.
Mhm.
Think of how you will adapt and utilize it in your life. That'll make it very effective.
True.
And the fourth thing, very simple: don't fall in love with your technology, don't fall in love with your tools, because technology is a means to an end. Just because there is AI, I hear people saying, how can you use AI for this? No, you define the problem statement, you define the solution, and if AI is relevant, leverage it. Don't undertake a project because you want to start with adopting AI. That I don't think is the right thing. Don't overuse it. Basically, and simple innovations and creative ideas still work. They're still relevant, I feel, right? So yeah, if all you have is a hammer, everything appears to be a nail. Avoid that syndrome, is what I feel. Um, so I'll take a pause here. I don't want to give a long lecture, Sabarna. So yeah, these are some of the points that I wanted to share with the audience. And yeah, I'll take a pause here.
So, sir, actually, what happened is like, frankly, for me, the last section, whatever you told, it actually, it's clear that I have been using those, means whatever the four topics or 4 points, whatever you mentioned. I am part of, I think, four altogether. Okay, I am overusing it. I am discussing with other person, collaborating it. I do not know what happened, but the main thing is like, it's brilliant again. So the way you projected, it's like the journey of you is there. Obviously, what I feel, it's like 20 years of SAP or technology practice, you can say. So, just to means you can be a guide to a person who is just starting off the college and getting into SAP, to a person who is in mid career, to who has been seen say 16 17 years of experience, who is is trying to do the next thing, or trying to redefine his goals for next couple of years and to keep pace with SAP. And also there are persons who have vast knowledge on SAP AI and everything, right, and bots and everything. So there are several types of category. There are some person from functional area who are keen to that.
Mhm.
So you have identified whatever the specific pain points and whatever the specific types of persons are there in SAP, and you have elaborated all those. So my question to you now is like, say for basically from technology perspective. So say a person who have learned ABAP for 10 years and they want to move to AI, or they want to move to
Yeah,
bots, bot building. So what are all the basic steps you want to yeah, can you please highlight on this?
certainly, Subarna. Certainly, Subarna. And you rightly said, I mean, in my organization, currently I work with Jade Global as the SAP global leader there. I have carved out a separate training module for my ABAP programmers. I want them to adapt and get on board with AI. I take your help also on that as guidance. So yes, that's a very valid question. So for technical developers, I think they should start by enrolling for these SAP courses. SAP has so many wonderful courses on OpenAI. They're also on the Learning Hub. But start with those courses, understand the fundamentals. And as I always say, learn the basics first. So there are many things that you can do just by adopting what comes out of the box. That's always the first step. So, for example, like SAP's technology for unstructured data reading, like OCR, like technologies that SAP now offers on BTP. So how can you adopt that for, say, maybe scanning a PDF document and then creating an order out of it, right? So any such thing. So look at the small steps first, because if you look at the big picture, it may suddenly look like an impossible task. So my suggestion to them is choose an area. First of all, as I always say, you cannot be a specialist in everything. If you choose, say, analytics as your field, then think about being a data scientist, or whatever you can do to be move on that track, so that you can process data, you can find trends, regression analysis, everything. Or if you choose to be on the robotic process automation side, then focus on SAP bots, but also look at the hundreds of bots that SAP offers out of the box, right? And these are low code developments, low code, no code development. So there's many things that people can take as the first step and then grow on that path. So that would be my suggestion to them. Take number one, take undertake some courses, understand what's there in BTP, and number two, then start choosing your areas. Just pick and choose your battles, and then move forward.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for means your input. So I also think that there are two types of mentality. Means as a developer, it comes say like I can do it, I cannot do it, right? So the
Yeah,
person who thinks that I can do it, or the person who thinks I cannot do it, I think both are equally impacts the thing what we do today, right? So having said that, say the person it's the same background from ABAP who wants to learn new things. You told that the basic steps like BTP and bots, how they were going to start with that. But
yeah.
uh, do you think that a Python expert is they can compete with a Python expert in the field of SAP AI? A Python expert from
Right.
who has a vast, you understand my point. So
Mhm. Yeah,
that
yeah, I get your
gap
point. Yeah.
actually me and other person feels every time.
Yes. Absolutely, Zabana. And it's a very good question. As I said, no, it will be a challenge. It will be a challenge. See, if you're talking about a ABAPer who is maybe fresh from college, has done his computer science engineering few years ago, maybe possible. He might have had some
Uh-huh.
basic introduction to Python and would have done some projects in Python. Maybe he can go back and pick it up from there, but may not be for everybody else, right? There may be some people who may find it too difficult to go back and become an expert in Python. So that's why I say that it's not essential that you will become an expert in everything, but then you can still become an expert in how to apply that concept. So you know how SAP works in and out. You have been doing developments in SAP for a very long time. So that's where you can identify the white spaces where the Python expert can come in. That's why then my point on collaboration, right?
Okay.
So you may not be able to really compete with an expert, but you can certainly integrate them into your system and then make an impact. So you can define the use case, you can guide that Python expert on what part he has to develop, and then integrate into your own piece. That's the vision I feel.
Definitely, it's a very good point. What I actually felt of, and that's why I asked. So the next section is like definitely you talked about the functional persons, right? So those functional persons who are actually, I think, shaping the ERP, right? So obviously, from a technical perspective, I do not know what is going on, but as you have the clear picture. So why means why there is an slow movement? My question is simple. Why there is slow movement from functional area in AI?
Um, right. That's a very good question, Sabar. And again, the point, like you rightly mentioned a few minutes ago, there are people who have that I can do mentality, and some though this is too much for me kind of mentality. Some people who want to get into AI because it's the buzzword. They should have something in their resume that says AI. So that's not the right way. I think people have to take it very simple. Even functional consultants, as I said, need to go back to basics. They need to go and revisit. You can ask people how many people have recently visited best practices portal of SAP. They don't. Maybe what one reason could be, after S4 HANA was launched and it stabilized, say around 2020 or so, there has not been too many changes to the core processes. So
Okay.
people have really taken it easy. Okay, it's stable. There are some incremental features here and there. I can read the release notes and I'm done. But they are missing the bigger picture, uh, right? They're missing the bigger picture, and I feel they should really focus on that. And these are standard best practices. They're appearing in, intelligent processes, as I call it, intelligence-driven business processes are part of SAP standard catalog. All they have to do is read it and then take the help of some technical folks in the team to activate and try them out. And that's where I think the success will lie. I agree with you. The pace has been slow, and it's a chicken and egg story, right? Because the consultants are slow, even the customers are not so keen or not so. They're really not driving us or pushing us enough to say, "Hey, I want to implement that particular process. That sounds really interesting." Right?
Yeah.
Or okay, there is a predictive replenishment as an example I told you, but my requirements are different from what SAP has out of the box. So customize this for me. Get in a data scientist and customize this for me, right? So both things. So we in turn have to guide the CIOs and the business leaders. That is certainly a push required. But at the same time, they are also slow to respond because the consultants are maybe not pushing them enough, or uh, the advisors themselves are not advising them properly. That could be a reason. But yes, it certainly needs to go faster. So I
Okay.
agree.
The next thing is like I wanted to ask to everybody. Means I actually asked this question to everybody. So if you see adapting new technologies, SAP is slow in the market, right? So I think it is the slowest moving block in the technology forum. So see, until and unless you learn something, till then you find that means in SAP it launched. You started to learn how to activate Joule, how to use Joule, how to configure it for your application. You started to learn. Till then, you find that every other technologies have been adopted by the customers. What I mean to say, I will just quickly give you an example of UiPath and builds.
Yes,
And obviously, with automation anywhere and all, you know that
yes,
struggle. It's same thing is going to happen in GenAI as well. So it's you. What do you want to say about that?
That is true. And I think I covered it in one of my points because the best innovations may be outside of SAP. That was one of my first points. So keep your eyes and ears open. But you see, SAP certainly plays catch up many times on some of these technologies. But then they kind of refine it. They bring their own unique selling proposition. Like for example, say if UiPath and Automation Anywhere are very powerful tools, I agree on process automation, but then SAP throws in a twist saying that, hey, but I know SAP. So I can create bots for most of the SAP transactions under the sun. And that's why, suddenly you have a repository of hundreds of SAP bots that run on RPA. But I get your point. SAP may not be the number one, and that's why. Uh, but the BTP being a platform will offer you the options of consuming other expert services that are even existing outside SAP, right? For
Uh,
example, even your Chat GPT, it's a completely outside. It's nothing to do with SAP, but you can consume that in SAP. So at least that kind of ecosystem is evolving, is there, and will continue to evolve. So look for the best. So technology is or a specific tool is secondary. I would feel that people should focus on a particular problem statement or a particular innovation that is required, and then look at which is the best tool in the market. I do that even today.
okay.
Suppose I want to drive automation, and then you look at what best tool is there in the market. It may not be SAP every time, right?
Okay.
So technology it's a means to an end, right? So yes, you're right. There could be best things that are happening outside of SAP. Happens all the time.
Okay. Okay. So you have been seeing this for 20 years. Okay, I understand
Yeah,
now.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So the next thing is like you told, no, do not overdo, right? So that was another catch. So why not to do, means why, means how, why not to do over? I do not know how to, means I do not know how to phrase that
Agreed,
sentence,
agreed,
but
agreed.
see, the main thing is like I means from my personal experience also I do it several times, and the thing why I'm asking this question is like it actually I felt in that way I do this stuff quite often, that say a simple thing, simple problem is there. There is no requirement of say going to cloud or going to do some other stuffs, but we try to means from a technology perspective, whoever is interested say write a complex function module to do it dynamically and do it getting
Mhm.
things from here to there. So it is something happens back of the mind sometimes, right? It's for sure.
Yes,
It
yes,
also gives, I think, a thought of exploration, right? So
yes,
it is also, you can say that it also creates a critical thinking, right? So whenever you say AI from Gen AI perspective, it's like lots of things it just opens up, right? But is there any specific things in SAP with Gen AI that these are the boundaries what we can think, and means how to restrict that thought that Gen AI can do everything in SAP, and or means where is the limit? Where do you
Mhm.
want to draw that line?
um, Honestly speaking, Gen AI is, I would say, too new a topic for everybody, right? It's still evolving, and people really don't know the full capabilities or the full limitations of where it will go to. And even as we speak today, we are in the 1st of March, but maybe just few months down the line something more revolutionary will come in, and things will change. But when I say don't overdo, I mean two things. First of all, I'd never restrict my technical team from creative thinking. See, there are two environments. There is a lab environment, and there is the live production environment. Now, in the lab environment, in the lab setting, you should by all means be creative. You overdo it to whatever extent you was. Even if you take a simple use case, you try to implement every possible technology under the sun and see how it works. Try out permutations and combinations. That's how you will learn. That's how you will see reach the limits, and you will understand. Okay, here is a gray area that I can contribute to. But that's in the lab environment. When we talk about a real life scenario, I believe that one should vet it properly. and make sure that it's the right candidate for application of technology, whether it's uh, Gen AI or whether it's whatever it is, or it could be even a simpler technology much that was existing even 5 years ago. So that's where they see that discretion is required. That sometimes what a simple few lines of ABAP code can do, you are investing in an entire uh, huge solution to achieve something similar in a much more, you know, cool looking way.
So how you're going to miss how means how what is the thought process
Right.
or
Simple.
or means to get that decision done?
Yeah.
So
So it's a very old concept, old as the hills. It's called frugal engineering.
okay,
You basically think of what can be done with the minimum possible resources, right? This
okay.
is the minimum viable solution. Now, if I have to, sorry, does that meet my requirement? Yes or no? If it doesn't, then you keep on embellishing it, enriching it through the new technology features that come in. That's the thought process I keep. Again, I don't say this is the right and the only way of doing it, but that's a good way of keeping check on proliferation of technology, as I call it, right? Because ultimately, I'll tell you, Sabarna, you may create a wonderful POC, a proof of concept or proof of value for a customer, but when a CFO of an organization looks at it, he has the finances, he's going to look at ROI. He's going to look at return on investment. Is this investment really worthwhile? Right? That's where the budgets are going to come or not come. Right? The CTO
So
might get
true.
all charged up. He's a chief technology officer. He has been in charge of bringing digital transformation, which is another big buzzword. So, and they don't know where to start, by the way.
Yeah.
So yes, they might be excited by it, but the CFO, no. He's going to basically he has the keys to the purse, and he's not going to get too impressed if we put anything above that. So better we do the due diligence before we go there. That's my thought process.
Okay, Ashutosh sir, it was nice talking to you. So actually, what I did also, I personally didn't discuss with you anything about this, whatever we are going to, means whatever I thought of asking to you. And it was really great to discuss with you or talk to you with
Likewise.
openly whatever I thought. As you we didn't practice, we didn't do anything, right? It went different direction altogether. So thanks, Ashutosh sir. So thanks to you. So again, to all the community members and to you, Ashutosh sir, what we are trying to do is like in 27th of April, we do have a SIT Kolkata event coming up.
Okay.
So there, Momita and her team are actually working. So I am not that much involved to them, but I know how Momita and her team works. So they are doing everything. They are creating banners. They are talking about SAP. They are posting their and obviously I could have means I think 2 days back I also have seen speakers. They have also released the nomination for that, and they are also trying to do it. So this platform, how do you see, Ashutosh sir, your words to that?
It's very very important what you guys are doing, which what the community members are doing is extremely important, because yeah, we need such communities where there is an open dialogue, open discussion on technology, without being biased, without being pro SAP or anti SAP, right? We discuss openly what SAP has to offer. These are the limitations, these are the pros, and also a forum for users to for community members to share their ideas, share their concerns, and learn from each other. So I feel it's a wonderful task that all these chapters are doing, and really really pleased to contribute in any way that I can to take this forward.
Thanks a lot, Ashutosh sir. Thanks for your time again. And I think we are up to means that we are to the end. So I think I have 1 or 2 minutes slots for this section. It's like audience, what they want to means what do you want to say to the audience, ACP community folks? I think this will be the major
Mhm.
crowd. Yeah.
Well, to the audience or the viewers that we have today, I would say that, see, AI is just another wave that has come in and it is hitting us. Of course, it is going to change a lot of things, but don't think of it as something really huge that you cannot surmount or you cannot do it. As an SAP expert, you really have a lot of core skills. As I said, Sabarna, SAP has always been something between IT consultancy and business process consultancy, right? Because we always re-engineer processes. That process knowledge is something that our domain experts always have, and which also extends to the programmers. So everybody has more functionally aligned here in SAP world, in the community. So AI is something that can very easily be broken down into pieces and absorbed into your daily life. You can overall enrich your ERP solution and make the life of your end users more uh, smoother, better, richer. And that should be the focus that everybody should have. Just have that can-do attitude, and I think you'll be great in the coming years.
Thanks, Ashutosh sir. It was obviously a positive note, like every time whenever we had a discussion. Thanks a lot, Ashutosh sir. You have debriefed the entire scenario from starting to with the 20 years of huge knowledge as you have seen from stakeholders, financial stakeholders to technological stakeholders, everybody you manage and deal with, and you know how things work in SAP and IT altogether. So thanks a lot, Ajay sir. Thanks for your time. I think people will be really encouraging. I think I do see some conversations in the LinkedIn as well. They were eager to learn from you. Okay. I think kudos to that. They will also will be waiting for this video. Thanks a lot, Ajay sir. Thanks for your time. It was really
Thank
good
you,
to
Sabarna.
see you
Thank
again
you,
and talk to
Sabarna.
you again. Thank you.
Pleasure.